Back to style it again.
Yes, this time we are styling shorts. It's kind of a divisive topic. Trabo, I know you feel very particular about how your shorts feel, as do I, as does Timothy. I'm sure that they're all drastically different, to be quite honest with you. But I think that everybody has trouble styling shorts in this fashion niche, in this world. And I think it's actually one of the things that you don't got to worry about all that much. But we'll get into that.
I think that, like you're saying, people are just very particular about how shorts fit.
Yeah.
So we thought maybe it would be a good idea to show like 3 different ways that you can think about shorts. You know, long, maybe more medium, maybe shorter, maybe a more utility-driven thing, or like a, you know, situational sort of thing, like a swimsuit type of hybrid sort of. Yeah. We thought it would be helpful maybe to at least point out like the ways we think about styling them and putting them together, and really more about proportion and silhouette as opposed to anything else.
It's all proportion. It's all proportion, so.
Yeah, so we just felt it maybe like, maybe you tell me this. What are your preferences personally?
I don't buy shorts. I cut my pants into shorts when I'm done with them.
But why?
It's what I did as a kid when I would go to shows and shit. I'd go to Walmart. I would go to the Husky Boys uniform pants. In high school, I would get the biggest size they had in the Husky Boys uniform pants, and I would chop them.
Husky Boys uniform pants.
And I would chop them into little shorts. Now, I do that because in most cases I've already got the pants. If the pants are getting enough wear, they might get more wear as a pair of shorts. Now, obviously,
that's all fine, and I think that's a perfectly valid thing to do. It's like it's an easy way. It's everyone has a pair of pants that they're like, I'm on. Maybe I can get a little more wear out of them. That's great. But tell me about the proclivities. What are the lengths we're talking about? What is the style of pants that works for this versus not?
Totally. So if we're talking about cutting off pants, I've got a pair of fatigues that I cut off. They're Orslo U.S. Army regular fit fatigues in the regular sateen. I've cut those into shorts, and I wear those quite often in the summer. I also have a pair of New Yorkers that I did the exact same thing to, cut them. They're now shorts, both of which I will garden in or wear around the house, whatever. Now, if we're talking something like an active short, I have the Beams black nylon ones that could function as a swimsuit. I've certainly swam in them before. Or on the other side, you've got what I have like a pair of soccer shorts. I got them in high school. I think they were from the girls' soccer section in Target, but they were nice and short pair of Umbros. So that's what I'm wearing. But point being, you asked a question on fit and silhouette. Nothing from the knee or down. I would like my shorts to fall comfortably above the knee. It's a sensory thing. I grew up playing soccer for so many years, as did you.
Because this is going to become important with this conversation. Where above the knee? Do you stop me when I've gone?
I'm talking here. I'm not going to touch it.
So above the knee.
Above the knee. I'm talking comfortably above the knee, not close to the knee, above the knee. That's how I personally address them. I like for them to be, for instance, I love the Canoe Club shorts. The silhouette of those are so roomy and big. You can really move around, get what you got to get done. I've got a pair of shorts, by the way, I'd like to report. They are cut, they are ironed, they just need to be hemmed.
Oh, yeah. So the things that I like is length is not so much of a thing. I will sometimes go a little bit longer. Usually if I'm going a little bit longer, it's because it's like a dressier situation, or I want it to be flowier all over. If it's like right at the knee, that's just like kind of that's my flat normal. And then I will go, especially if it's like an active short, I'll go much higher. Doesn't bother me how high at that point. We grew up playing soccer. That's what you practiced in. So just as I'm used to it, I'm comfortable in it. My main things are, with shorts, I size up in my pants. So if I'm normally a 32-ish, 33, I go up to a 34. I'm not even considering something lower, because in this, I would rather it be looser. I want a high rise, so I can hike them up. I can belt them a little higher because they're a little bigger, and I want them to be nice and loose, because the whole point to me of changing from a pant to a short is so that I can like move a little bit easier in them. It's not so much about it feeling that much like cooler that I don't have like a fabric from the knee down, because that doesn't do anything for me. It's never like I've been like my shins are hot. So it's more about like movement and like ease of motion. So for me, I want something flowier. I don't usually use heavier materials personally. I like it to be like a really washed out, broken in like twill, higher rise, looser overall. And then that way, if you're wearing it I tend to be wearing a lot looser like t-shirts and like, linens or whatever. And then that really like tends to like lay well and, you know, proportionally even out.
Yeah.
So that's my personal take. But I think this is it. I mean, when I'm looking at Trouble right now, he wears a much looser short that goes usually a lot longer.
His is knee below the knee,
Yeah,
you know?
which I think is also cool. I think that this is just a weird, sensitive topic for people in that, like, people seem to have very strong feelings on how a short fits exactly. It's not too often that in menswear you're showing off any skin, so I think that's like maybe that's part of it.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, it's just definitely a place where people seem to feel a little sensitive about. So we thought we'd give a handful of like broad strokes ideas on like how to think about styling and, you know, leveling out your proportions when it comes to shorts.
Yep. Again, it's all proportions. It's what kind of shoe do you have, and then what kind of sock do you have, and like because like, and I'm sure we can get into it with the looks and stuff. But no sock versus having a sock changes the proportions entirely. You're gonna have a chunky shoe, or you're gonna have like
short
a
leg,
regular
long
sneaker.
leg makes a big difference here, you know. So it really like there's just a lot of different variables that you don't normally have to think about because technically in menswear you're a little blessed because there's not that many options. Where, you know what I mean? So this is the one area where there tends to be like there's a lot of different, you know, things to think about. So I think we've got 3 options. Hopefully we're going to show enough different ways. Maybe we'll have to do a part 2 because obviously there's a lot to this. But we took some like kind of broad strokes things, put it on a lot of different people this time as opposed to one, so we could hopefully show different body styles, different stylings, different types of style in general, and so that we can show a broad array of things.
Great.
But
Easy peasy.
right, let's get into it.
Cool.
All right.
Here we are.
So here's Alec. I feel like this is like maybe the most straightforward and approachable thing. And I felt like it was good to start with that because everyone can pull this off.
We can all understand,
you know
what we're looking at here.
Yeah. So I think that like this is the Stussy short that they do, which is like a really, in my opinion, it's like Patagonia baggy, but doesn't fit like garbage.
Nicer, yeah.
So it's a little bit more straightforward. It's that right above the knee thing that people like. No one's gonna argue with this situation.
A very
you know what I mean?
inoffensive situation.
Yeah,
We've all
you're not
worn a
really
short
making
like
a
this.
statement with the silhouette at all, but it's comfortable, it's utility driven because it's like you can get it wet, you cannot. That way too, like I hate owning a bathing suit. Like I'm an adult, it seems crazy.
The mesh and shit, man.
So you get something like this, you can wear it all season long, it's really light, it's airy, it's easy to wash, it wicks moisture, you know what I mean? If you go and you wanna go swimming randomly, you're good to go. I mean, this is like the easy, straightforward thing. We did it with one of these like cool tees because you know you're not gonna tuck it in because it's an elastic waistband.
Yeah.
So it's got the roll on the hem, so little point of interest, but nothing crazy. Looks good alone, looks good not. Then I just like having like this type of thing in the summer, especially if you're like gonna go hang out for the day. You know, it varies in, you know, goes from hot to cooler. So having like a really lightweight flannel even, or any short. And Oxford
Flannel.
I think looks nice here too.
Yep. Like a work shirt from E.G., like a chambray or
Sure,
something.
chambray's great.
Super easy. Yeah.
Anything in that sort of mid-weight, it's not a jacket, but you have something to put over, breaks up the situation a little bit. In this case, we went with one of the 7 cuts because it's like one of our most popular items. They're great, they're easy, they add a point of interest in fashion without doing anything, not making any sort of statement. Looks cool wrapped around the waist or over the shoulder, thrown around, all looks good. And then you just do it with like a fun sneaker, you know? And then you could do this with anything. This could be an ASICS, it could be a Hoka, it could be a sandal, you know? The goal was to find something that could really work on everybody. Like if you don't know what to do, you feel a little lost in that. If you get a pair of this kind of nylon style short right above the knee, usually that's going to be like a what, 6 inch, 5 inch,
5, 6.
Yeah.
6 is probably cutting it to get to the short.
And then just do it with everything else. Just feels casual. And then like I said, I think in the summer the big thing is be able to remove and then put back on things so that you can change as you need.
Yeah, you got yourself a little tote bag. This stuff's in there, no problem. You know,
Easy.
none the wiser. But yeah, really dope. Also, we got no socks here, so he's just doing just like a low profile shoe, which would be again kind of how I think most people would wear either sand sock or with a no show. You know what I mean? But Chirabo, would it be kosher for Chirabo to step into the frame real quick? I just want to show how he's got the socks going up the shin with a fuller short, but it's a similar treatment with like a low profile shoe. He's got the socks and the short, so you can see how the proportion breaks up.
Yeah. You can also see Chirabo's pretty tall.
Yeah.
And you've got a regular t-shirt and then you're putting all the proportion down here, but because he has a longer leg with a tall sock, suddenly it's breaking it all up and it just looks a lot more put together and finished, even when you have like a bolder length and style of short.
Agreed,
as opposed to that which is a little bit more straightforward. So I'd say easy way to look at kind of two different body types too and say like how does the proportion affect the body type too? How does it break things up? So
yeah, primarily just to show that the sock can change everything completely. But
and I'd say if Alec was going to wear a sock with this, the only difference I would do is maybe go a little bit shorter than what Sharabo had on. You know what I mean? Just so that you can make sure that there's enough leg hanging out, because sometimes you get that sort of like at the knee plus the sock that goes up to here, and now we're in Deftones territory. So that's like a different. It's a different thing.
This is exactly something I would wear on a hot summer day, so I feel 10 out of 10 comfortable. Just as Timothy and Chase were saying, delayering is a priority, especially when it gets hot. It gets to like 100 sometimes in Boulder, so that is a necessity. You also get super breathable pants. You know, kind of crop shirt, but you know, everything's just lightweight. You can delayer if you need to, and then you get a subtle little hit with the 7 cuts. And no frills except everything's patchy, you know, but it's super cool. I like it. You're not doing anything super crazy, but it's good. So
It's still like some bold choices while remaining easy. And I think that's figure out where you can make the statement. Sharabo can make it in that he just has a t-shirt on and some basic white sneakers and then a longer, bolder short.
The short is like the main statement. Situation.
In this situation, we're trying to just make this blend in with everything else and just kind of be, cohesive and clean and easy. Because the main thing is it's got to feel easy with shorts, because if it's not feeling like casual and easy, then I think we've gone askew.
Because shorts are casual. That's the whole point. So maybe just lean into it.
Oh, cool. He looks great.
Love it, Al.
Good.
Amazing. All right, and we're back. Timbo, you asked me if I know how to address this situation. This is the way that I think about it. The first look we had with Al was a very casual situation. We had nylon-based shorts. Similarly, sneakers and a flannel. This would be like kind of meeting in the middle, strictly because of the material of the short. So this is corduroy. This is the EG short, so the fatigue short, so a little bit longer in length. Obviously, contrasting versus Alec had the nylon, kind of like above the knee kind of situation going. So it's a little bit more of a fuller feeling fabric. Not super casual, but obviously not formal, which the next look will be a little bit more formal as you can get with a pair of shorts. But I like this. We got the fatigue shorts, corduroy down low, and then the hoodie up top. Shorts and a hoodie is like a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's cool. It's undoubtedly so sick.
Again, I've said this before, earlier, but I'll say it again. Your shins are never, it's not like, oh man, my lower leg is really cold. So it's not really, I don't really think it's about heat, especially if you've got a sock up to there. You're really only talking about this much exposure. You know what I mean?
Sharabo wears his shorts all winter long. It'd be cold. Yeah. And I'm sure you got a little breeze up there, but I'm sure you were just fine. So.
I think that like the nice thing is, again, people view shorts as this like, well, I can do it with like a t-shirt. And it's like, I get that, and that's true, you know what I mean? But I think that if you just start layering in things, you create a completely different proportion.
Agreed,
and I think that's what a hoodie does so well. I like that if you're doing something like heavier up top like this, that's a little more structured, a little bit more full, doing something in the material that's a little heavier. Corduroy is like an old school kind of short thing. Like it was really popular in the 70s is like more or less what people used as like a utility fabric, like a hiking short or something.
Interesting.
So I think that pairing it with a hoodie like this, suddenly the fabric feels more substantial, the hoodie feels more substantial, the whole outfit feels a little bit more. This is a good like evening version of things, or doing this in like, the early summer or late summer too, I think is really good. What you don't want is a big heavy hoodie, and then I see this a lot with guys, and then really small little nylon short. That proportion is not good for almost anyone.
No, because then you got a whole bunch of leg, and then if you do another small short or something without a sock, it's just, you got all the material up top and then just leg.
You're looking like a peanut M&M. You know what I mean? Like
it's
that, and then the little legs sticking out. It's just no good. You know what I mean? And I think that naturally everyone wants to go short shorts. I know it was popular. We're not all Paul Mezcal, but like the other problem is it's like it creates this really thin lower end. The only way to do that is if you do low profile shoe, tight t-shirt or something. Otherwise, again, just imagine yourself as a shadow. How does the proportion look? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if it's looking too weighted one way or the other way, I just think it messes everything all up and makes it feel different than you're really intending. So obviously go for comfort wherever you need that, but just make sure that you're evening things out and you're balancing things around a little bit. So Obviously wanted to showcase Hoodie with the shorts because, like you said, it's a fan favorite.
It's cool. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it reads casual and comfortable. Even you can kind of like make it seem a little bit more of a full thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think it works. I think again, if you're going to do sock like this, especially with a longer short, he did the perfect thing, low profile shoe. Just keep the shoe really low profile because you have to, again, every time you add one thing, you got to balance it out on the other side.
Totally. Like, you know, with the previous fit with Al, what I think would look cool too, not just because I like him so much, but like a pair of Wallabies or like a leather shoe that is maybe not a sneaker. And if you pair that with a sock, but you got like maybe a softer material up top, it'd work out. But like you said, in this situation, the short already is quite voluminous, you know, in the realm of shorts. So it's nice to have the smaller shoe and not just do big, because then at that point, then it's all one.
Yeah, and to point out something else, this has a high rise on it, this short. So what he's doing is he wears his shit pretty low.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is fine. That's either trend in, out, whatever you feel comfortable in, whatever, however you view it. And that makes it go lower. If you have a high rise, you can yank it up super high, you can drag it down a little bit low, and you can, that's why I like it, is I kind of create my own length of short because I have, you know, based on whatever I'm wearing on top. So if I'm wearing something like bigger, flowier, boxier like this, then I would actually in that case probably hang them up a little higher. If I had like something like just a t-shirt on, I might hang them just a little bit lower. Yeah. Again, you're just kind of thinking like, if this is cropped, then this shouldn't be, or if this is this, you know,
yeah,
just
I got you.
Little push, little pull, and then I think everything kind of evens out. But that's really the key with shorts is just balance.
Yeah, looks great.
I wouldn't usually wear you can push them down, whatever you feel most comfortable in. And yeah, I really use shorts as like a utility in the summer, you know?
Yeah.
But no, just to get some air. But yeah, no, I actually really like how this turned out, so.
All right, move on to the next one.
All right, and we're back with the third look. I think we'll put it in this order because that was the intention, was casual, not formal, but not casual, formal-ish.
Yeah, I mean, look, I understand that you can obviously get a Tom Brown suit and you can make shorts dressy if you needed to, but that's going to be a very outside thing that you'd be accomplishing that's not the usual. But I still wanted to have something to where if you wanted to like make things dressier, a little more elegant, this is more like the way I would go with a short. This is kind of the way to do it. Number one, just the easiest thing is just darken all the colors. And you know, obviously I'm partial to black and brown, so I do something like this. And I know that I've seen you do similar things, so I figured this will look nice and she'll feel comfortable in it. But we wanted to also show longer, dressier short. I think that if you want to do the long thing with shorts, you just need a material that makes it easy. We had an Orylee short that worked really well. I think there's old videos of Kate wearing that, for example. It's that and she wasn't very tall, and even though that those were like well past her knee, they were flowy and they draped well, so it made all that easier. It looks more casual that way. The main thing is it's 10 times more comfortable without actually having it be like formal or stuffy or anything like that. And then I just figured a nice way to do what we've been doing, to offset the short, is to do like a really lightweight sweater on top. So this is cashmere, guest in residence. It's got the roll neck, really light, and it's drapey. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, again, it just balances the fact that that's drapey, this is drapey. Now everything flows nicely, lays on the body nicely, looks clean, but it still looks cool. And then if you do like these darker colors, it's dressy, but it's, you pick the right colors and suddenly it's kind of edgy and punk and cool and easier. So, and then again, if you're gonna go super flowy, then to balance out, I asked if she had like a chunky shoe. Now you see what I'm doing. So now it's like very pretty and very like a silhouette-y, very like that, like they would draw, but then you like add a big chunky thing and now it feels, I don't know.
It proportionally works out, you know what I mean? The shorts are longer and a little fuller in volume as well, which lends itself to like a nice chunky shoe. And you got the long sleeves. If you're wearing like short sleeves on top, it might be a little freaky to have like little proportion, big proportion, big proportion, you know what I mean? Like the opposite, it'd be a little bottom heavy, but with the long sleeves and it's a little bit drapier, it falls off the shoulder.
Well, and like if you have something like this and I'm styling her, you can have this big blossomy thing. And you can put this over the top and it's drapey and a little longer and that all reads. Or she can wear like a little black tank top or something with it to make it tight on top, and then this feels long. And then that's, or wear underneath this, and you can take it off again, throw it over your shoulders, around the waist, and you can just mess with layers and proportion all day long that way without it being like uncomfortable or feel contrived or like you're wearing 100 things.
I also just want to shout out, we had the meeting with the Harold guy this morning, the two people that are involved with Harold, the designer. He had a sweater tied around his waist, and I thought it looked really nice.
Yeah, and he had like a flowy,
big
large
short with
and
the sweater tied around the waist.
And another
and
smart thing that we didn't show that I think is important is that he had like a bigger, boxier T-shirt, which I think is perfect because it's flowier. And
it was longer sleeves almost down to the elbow.
But he tucked it in.
Exactly.
So when you tuck it in, suddenly now you bring it in and then back out. So now you're kind of doing hourglass. Again, just think of yourself as a shadow, and if it's, if you've got low down, if it's doing this downstairs and make this upstairs, if it's going this, then you go the opposite. You just gotta like change it. So it's kind of always like you're offsetting one with the other, basically.
We just have to lean into the Adam Sandler summer. That's all I'm
Hell
saying.
yeah, actually, this is
Big baggy shorts and baggy tops, minimal effort. Adam Sandler summer, thank you.
Yeah, so she can do Adam Sandler, but if you just make it, it's Camiel, it's cashmere, suddenly now we're in a different playing field, even though we can elevate it Adam Sandler.
Yeah, I mean, that rules.
That's great. That's a perfect thing to end it on. You just gotta elevate the Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
We'll let her go and then we'll outro this bitch.
All right, that was styling shorts. We provided 3 looks. Timbo, which would you most resonate with?
The one we just saw, I don't know what order. Madison's, yeah. I like the brown and black, obviously. I like sweater with shorts a lot. That's probably the thing I'll do most often is like really lightweight cotton or linen sweater with shorter short. I think that looks really nice. Yeah. Very like old money bullshit. I like that, but done the way we did it, it feels different. Yeah. So I like that a lot. I could be convinced into any of them, to be honest with you, but yeah, I really liked that look. What about you?
I like ALECS. I like the nylon short with a t-shirt and like a lightweight flannel or something over top.
It's
just
very
like so
classic.
Simple and not fucking.
It's like no matter what pieces of those puzzle that you put together, the nylon short, whatever kind of t-shirt, whatever kind of shirt, you can like make it way preppy. You could make it way fashion, way you could do a lot of different things with the same ingredients. Yeah. So I think that everyone probably has something like that at home. So you could probably even put that together with things you've already got. If you want us to do a part 2, if you want to see even more, I think that we could expand it even further depending on if we've got shorts or not.
Well, we're heading into fall. We're not going to get too many deliveries of shorts, and I reckon as the days goes on, we'll have.
But we'll keep it in mind. I think that it's a moving target. The length, the styles, the fabrics, all those things change a lot and make it this divisive thing that it can be sometimes. Yeah. So,
like Willie said though, sometimes it's just too damn hot. You gotta have shorts on. So
yeah, that's the way.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Take them away.
Like, comment, subscribe. Please communicate with us via YouTube. It is very helpful for us. We do read all the comments. We do take the suggestions. So thank you for doing that. Pop over to the Patreon right now at time of filming this, but not sure when this video comes out, but I will shout it out anyway. Those that were part of Patreon got early access to seasonal sale today. So that's the first group that's going to go to 30%. Patreon gets that a day or two earlier than the public will. Pop over to patreon.com/shopcanoeclub.com. Our podcast, customer service podcast, wherever podcasts are found, you can type in customer service Canoe Club. Every week plus some if you're part of the Patreon. That's about it. Thank you for being here. Thanks for watching. Be in touch. See ya.